Hello and welcome everyone to this new episode of Greatest Business Minds on our digital TV channel F15 by Forbes DACH. My name is Klaus, I'm the editor-in-chief of the German-speaking edition of Forbes, and in this format I meet the most interesting founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs and executives of the German-speaking region and beyond. Today's guest is Dominic Williams. He's the co-founder and chief science officer of Dfinity, a Switzerland and US-based technology company foundation that's building the so-called internet computer. And basically what Dfinity is trying to do is, not get rid, but kind of challenge big tech in what they do in reinventing the internet as an open platform where you can build your cloud science environment, where you can exchange data and kind of challenge this monopoly we've seen by Amazon, Microsoft, etc. It's a big vision, it's an ambitious vision. But Dfinity is on a good path, and they've recently announced a few news that will also again change a bit what they're doing, and maybe give them a better leverage on reaching the vision that they have. I'm quite excited he's here. I'm interested to hear exactly what they're up to at Dfinity. Dominic, thank you so much for taking the time and being our guest.
Thank you so much for having me, Klaus.
Maybe for the viewers who don't know Dfinity, and since it's not, let's say, the easiest of subjects or the easiest of visions you follow, give us a short overview of how the company started and what it really is in short, but understandable terms, what you're trying to do with your company and with the team.
So Dfinity is a not-for-profit foundation, and the aim is to extend the internet so that the internet can natively run software. So that we can build websites, enterprise systems, and internet services directly on the internet without using traditional proprietary services like Amazon Web Services, and without traditional software building blocks such as databases and web servers.
When did you realize that maybe there is a market niche for this, or maybe there's even a bigger societal need or market need to kind of change how we use the internet now, and this trend that we've seen when it comes to cloud services, where again the bigger getting bigger? What was this epiphany you might have had in the past?
Yeah, so like all great ideas, it had lots of great inputs. So I have a background as an entrepreneur building services that scale to millions of users. I've also been interested in distributed computing and cryptography for some decades now. So when Bitcoin came along, and it proved that you can have a decentralized network that provides a service, and so I was very interested in that. And that was followed by Ethereum, which showed that you can create a kind of computer in cyberspace using a decentralized protocol. And I was absolutely enthralled, and from 2013 on was working on the science and thinking about the science used that could be used to create a blockchain computer that scaled out, that would have unlimited capacity and very good performance. And the vision is a big one. The vision is that we will extend the internet so the public internet can host the majority of mankind's software systems and services. And there are lots of parts to this vision. We have reimagined what software is, and we've reimagined how people build systems and services for the modern environment. And we want people to build their enterprise systems and their internet services directly on the internet and leave behind the legacy IT stack, which has a lot of problems. So the internet computer provides a very different kind of environment. First of all, it's an open environment. So you can build on the internet without becoming a captive customer of a proprietary service like Amazon Web Services, or becoming locked in to a legacy building block like a database or a web server or some other component. That's the first difference. The second difference is that the internet computer is a tamper-proof environment. when you run software on the internet computer, it's absolutely unstoppable. And the environment itself is tamper-proof. So you don't need, for example, a firewall to protect your system or service on the internet computer. Third difference is that it greatly simplifies the job of developing new enterprise systems and services. And today, the vast majority of the cost in IT resides in the human operations necessary to manage the complexity of the legacy stack. And the last big advantage is that you can create autonomous software that runs without a human owner or a corporate owner, that can be governed in an open way, so that you can create something we call open internet services. And open internet services provide developers with advantages and users with advantages. And we hope that open internet services will revitalize the internet ecosystem and make it far more dynamic, collaborative, and innovative.
So just to stress this point and make this really clear also for our viewers, what you're doing is not building a direct challenger to Amazon Web Services, so to say, but you're building a platform that would enable everyone to not use services like that because they could do it in the internet. So you're building a platform rather than building a company that's challenging these big giants, right?
Yeah, so the Dfinity Foundation is strictly governed by Swiss law, and it's well funded, but all it can do is develop a protocol called ICP, Internet Computer Protocol, and encourage use of that protocol by supporting the Internet Computer Network. And the foundation can't be bought, it can't pivot if things aren't going its way. All it can do is invest money in the research and development of ICP and implementations and promoting the Internet Computer Network. And the Internet Computer itself is created by independent data centers around the world, running the ICP protocol from special machines called nodes. And we believe in 10 years, there'll be thousands of data centers in the network and millions of these node machines. And we see a generational shift as people move away from being captive customers on this legacy stack that's completely insecure, very expensive, leads to a sort of an entrepreneurial dynamic where new internet services succeed by capturing and hijacking user data rather than collaboratively building out and composing services. We see a generational shift occurring as people move from these proprietary captive environments to the open internet.
Now you've recently announced that you will open up the platform to developers. You're kind of using if I understood correctly, an open source approach to your model. Talk a bit about why you think that is gonna put you to get you to the next level, and maybe also what the challenges are in using such an approach.
Well, for developers building internet services today, they're faced with a number of challenges. The traditional model for building an internet service as an entrepreneur is that you create something like LinkedIn, a network for professional profiles. And in your early days, you share access to your user data and you collaborate in order to gain network effects and grow quickly. But in the Silicon Valley model today, once you've reached a certain size, you stop collaborating and sharing your data. And you instead hijack the data, close off everybody else's access to it, and behave like a monopoly. And there are lots and lots of examples of this kind of thing occurring. There are too many to list. But in the case of LinkedIn, in their early days, they provided ways that other services could incorporate the professional profiles in their network. And in fact, there were thousands of startups that were doing just that. They had completely different services, but they incorporated the professional profiles drawn from LinkedIn. Eventually, LinkedIn succeeded in dominating its niche, and Microsoft bought it, and they revoked everybody's API accessed. All of those other services lost access to the professional profiles inside of LinkedIn, and they were poleaxed, even some quite major services. And this kind of thing is part of the history of Silicon Valley. With respect to internet services, perhaps it really became visible with Zynga, the social games company that built on top of Facebook, was very successful, managed to IPO, was worth $15 billion. And then, one day, Facebook changed the rules, and 3 months later, they'd lost 85% of their value. So, for an entrepreneur coming in today, it's impossible to build on user data and functionality and relationships that are held by big tech, because if you still could build on top, because most of these guys have already stopped sharing that data, but if you could still build, it'd be like building on sand. So the problem with this is that the internet ecosystem stagnates in the same, and we've got a similar situation that we had in the 1990s when we had closed walled garden networks like America Online and CompuServe and Microsoft's information superhighway and the internet. In the end, the internet provided an open marketplace because it was permissionless, which fostered entrepreneurialism, investment, innovation, creativity, growth. Today, the internet has become like AOL. It's dominated by a few big tech corporations, and innovation and creativity is being stifled. And you can see this in the services of big tech themselves. I mean, even companies like Google, which to begin with were known as innovators, their services have stalled. I mean, when have you last seen a significant change to Gmail or to Google search? Once these companies become monopolies, innovation stops. The internet computer makes it possible to create open internet services controlled by tokenized governance systems that can share data, user relationships, and functionality in non-revocable ways. So that, if you had, for example, an open version of LinkedIn on the internet computer, those 1,000 startups that lost their access to the professional profiles inside LinkedIn could go back to their investors and say, look, we can build on the open version of LinkedIn on the internet computer. And we don't have to trust that open LinkedIn won't revoke our access, because the platform can guarantee that access can never be revoked if it's shared in a non-revocable way, which means that entrepreneurs can compose services and get better network effects and sort of collaboratively and dynamically build out the internet ecosystem in a very exciting way and get better network effects that will enable them to beat out the big tech incumbents.
Basically what could happen or would happen is that you would have, let's say, decentralized services or apps that do not have a single owner, that have in the internet computer, but it's not Facebook, it's not Google. And one of the sorrows or the worries or the matters of discussion that come up is accountability, which is already a huge topic in the internet. And it's not easy, let's say, with illegal content or whatever, to pinpoint, Facebook, but at least you know who to talk to or who to, complain to. If there is no one really, the owner, there's not really any accountability. And then again, you would have this problem of not knowing who to protest, to talk to. How are you dealing with this matter in the future in your model?
Well, first of all, an open internet service can do all of the things that a closed proprietary internet service can. So, it's possible to create an open internet service on the internet computer because it lives within the protocol. And so you can have software that runs without an owner. And obviously that's not possible using the legacy stack. You'd have to have a customer account with Amazon Web Services and so on. There'd have to be a legal entity such as a corporation that's paying the bills for the infrastructure. On the internet computer, it's possible to create open internet services that are controlled by, for example, tokenized governance systems. Now, those tokenized governance systems can do all of the things that you'd expect, such as upgrading the software, but they can also pay bounties to third parties. So today, Facebook outsources moderation to third-party companies that specialize in content moderation. An open internet service, if it wanted, could do exactly the same thing by making payments through the tokenized governance system to a third party that performs moderation. So all of the things that we have today can also be present in an open internet service running on the internet computer. But tokenization also provides opportunities to address challenges like content moderation in new ways. For example, governance tokens in the open internet service might be given to the community in return for their assistance moderating content. And you can apply more algorithmic approaches to moderating content, which I believe in the end will be more successful. And you can also use those kind of token economics to incentivize other kinds of early participation. So for example, you might create an open version of Uber running on the internet computer. And this would, of course, involve software that creates the service and a tokenized governance system. And the tokenized governance system could choose through its software to disperse governance tokens to early riders and early drivers to incentivize their participation and reward their participation in the service. And through that, grow faster. So you can do all of the things that you used to do with an open internet service, but you can also do new things. And the internet computer also provides a framework, a completely new framework for reimagined software that makes it much, much easier to build a hyperscale internet service. So recently, we just reached this tungsten milestone, and we demonstrated an open internet version of an app called it's called CanCan. That functionally it was the same as TikTok, and we demonstrated how you can create a service on the internet computer that can receive vast volumes of user data, in this case video, and also stream that data out to users. So you can do all the things that you used to do, but more easily, and you can also do completely new things. You can use token economics and also offer APIs to other entrepreneurs that are non-revocable, so they don't have to trust you. They can just build on top without any fear that they're going to lose that access later on. So you can quickly, dynamically, and collaboratively build out a really rich ecosystem around your own service.
Now we've talked and discussed about the vision, but maybe let's quickly, towards the end of the interview, see how you actually get there. What is your current employee size? How is your company organized? And what is the roadmap for the next few months and years, maybe, to get where you want to be? What are the milestones you're aiming for?
Well, when we first sort of raised significant funding, we said we were going to build a NASA for decentralization, and people thought it was a big joke. But we've been true to our word. It's taken us longer than we expected, that we built out one of the most incredible R&D operations in tech. We have a major research center in Zurich across 2 offices. We have a research center in San Francisco, a research center in Palo Alto, and a small one in Tokyo, and several remote teams. We're now on a public release schedule, so there are 5 public milestones. We've just passed the 3rd. It was called Tungsten, and this has involved letting developers through an app who apply into the Internet Computer Test Network. And we've also started open sourcing code and releasing more technical information. The next milestone is Sodium, which arrives at the end of Q3, where we introduce the Internet Computer's governance system. It's called the Network Nervous System. And then the final milestone is at the end of this year, which is involves the network becoming public and part of the public internet.
How do you think that Corona will have impacted your? I mean, we've discussed everything that's been going on. We've not even touched upon this huge crisis that's going on. How is this affecting your business model, your vision? Is it furthering? Was it difficult because you had to delay your schedule? what's your view on that?
Well, when COVID first became a major problem, we were all very worried about how it would affect our schedule and plans. But in actual fact, I think we've probably been more productive, which I think hints to a general trend of increased remote working. We obviously had some advantages because we have 4 research centers in different places, in different parts of the world, in different time zones. We're already used to working remotely and making use of Zoom, and so we are already set up for working remotely and also for working from home. So, but nonetheless, it's been surprising. I think it's fair to say our productivity has even gone up a little bit as people have saved time they'd otherwise have spent on public transport or driving into the office. So far it's going very good. Our offices are mostly empty. This is the Palo Alto office. I still come in here regularly, and some other people come in and out too, wearing masks, of course. I'm looking forward, though, to getting back to Zurich. And so I'm, personally speaking, I'm looking forward to travel restrictions easing. But the organization as a whole has been virtually unaffected by it.
Final question. You've raised quite a lot of money at a valuation of about 2 billion. Are you set now, or is the war chest full, or are you aiming for another financing round to get where you want to be in the next few months? What's the roadmap on that?
So we're not
if you
aiming
can
to
discuss it, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we're not aiming to run another financing round because it's so time consuming and we have lots of money. I think a lot of people in this space forget, no matter how much money you raise, that doesn't mean you can expand faster. Like, building an organization is slow, painstaking work. You have to hire the right people, you have to get the premises, you have to coordinate people, you have to get the processes in place. And our growth as an organization has not been hampered at all by the funds we have, and we've still got the vast majority of the funds we raised. So we're probably not going to raise any more money. But once the network's live, the foundation has an endowment of the tokens in the network, and we'll probably lock those in the governance system as a means of generating continuing funds. And our aim is eventually to grow to from we're probably like 120 people now, but our aim is to grow into the upper hundreds and then thousands of people, and just invest more and more money into the research and engineering that makes the internet computer, and never to stop, because that's the purpose of the foundation. It's a not-for-profit, and its only purpose is to acquire funds and to spend it on R&D, and essentially to get the entire world building all of its enterprise systems and internet services on the internet computer, on the free, public, open internet, rather than on legacy proprietary, on the legacy proprietary stack where you become a captive customer.
All right, big vision. So far, it's looking good. All the best with reaching it and getting where you want to go. Thank you so much for taking the time and being our guest.
Pleasure.
Thank you to the viewers of watching this video. If you don't want to miss any of our videos, hit the subscribe button, which is on the bottom right of this video. Dominic, good luck. Good night to you, obviously, as you're based on the West Coast, and talk soon.
Definitely. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.